So in this film I'm going to have a look at some of the hidden technologies in the Lenz O gauge DCC locomotives. The first one is very subtle, it's all about motor control. So conventional DCC uses back EMF to do the load regulation on a locomotive motor. As the loco is loaded up, it throws more power at it to try and maintain a constant speed and also to help with starting. What Lenz have done is put a magnetic position sensor on the motor shaft, so the motor now knows where in the rotation, that the decoder knows where the rotation of the motor is. This means that they can do away with back EMF and do the starting and load regulation through the sensor. Means the actual motor can run silently. It's really rather nice. The next hidden technology is the uninterrupted power supply, and what this does is search for power if power is broken on one rail. Oops. So you'll see that it actually tries to hunt for power if it stops on a dead portion of track. If I lift it off completely, the locomotive will stop, but you'll see actually that it's looking for the DCC signal. So you get this kind of spooky thing when I'm hovering it over the track. So the uninterrupted power supply uses large capacitors, but it also has some smoothing technology to stop it shorting out programming tracks. So when you just put a massive capacitor on a decoder with no other electronics, what can happen when you try to program it is that it sees an inrush and sees that as a short circuit. So they've got some clever technology in there to also allow the locos to be read on a programming track. So there are some more obvious technologies. There are the automatic couplings, the smoke generator. Let it warm up. Again, that's controlled from that magnetic position sensor to make sure it's always at the same exhaust beats. But you've also got railcom. So let me just turn the smoke off for a second. It will just blow it through. So what railcom allows is the loco can now talk back to the control system. So the Lenz control system is railcom enabled. On a conventional digital system it sends out instructions and the decoders just listen until it gets an instruction it recognises. But normally it can't speak back to the system. With railcom it can. So let's just have a look at that. And there we are, so it's read back the manufacturer's ID 99, which is Lenz. Where this can be quite helpful is control of features. So let's adjust the volume on the loco, which is on CV902. Set at 100. What I can do is adjust it on the fly, and when you're happy with the position you can leave it. So they tend to be set quite high volume, which is good for exhibition halls and things, but in a small workshop like this maybe you'd want it quieter. So it's nice to be able to do these things on the main track without having to transfer them back and forth to the programming track, that is. Okay. So another technology the loco has is ABC braking. So let's activate that. On the Lenz locos it's in CV51, and you set that to a value of 2. I see so we'll go up to 2, pretend that I hadn't accidentally left it on from previous. And what this will do is we'll detect a braking module. So wired into the track I've got this little diode matrix, which is a Lenz BM1 braking module. There's an insulated rail join here, and you can see the connection round to that BM1. What it's doing is dropping the voltage on one of the rails, and for the Lenz locos it's the left hand rail that is dropped for the Lenz O gauge locos. So when we come into this section, it detects the braking signal and stops the locomotive. Now you can use shunting speed to carry on. Function 5 is shunting mode. Or you can switch out the braking module by giving full normal power to the track. So you just put a bypass switch on the module, and the loco will start off again. The good thing, because it's a directional thing, the loco will be able to back out of the section. So you can use braking modules to protect the ends of the layout. So it's quite a clever little feature. So there we are, there's some of the technologies that aren't immediately obvious on some of these locos.